Pro two-wheel drive on the line here. Welcome everyone to round number 8 of TORC, the off-road championship presented by AMSOIL. This is the big house brawl from Crandon, getting ready for the land rush start. 900 horsepower to 2 wheels at the back of the machine. You're looking at young CJ Greaves on the line.
CJ Greaves just coming out of a pro light, having a strong run, but now has to change his style a little bit. But let's look back at round 7. You see him bumping back and forth, and on the inside, relative new guy, Nick Tyree with a great hole shot.
That red Boss snowplow machine, though, of Chad Horde had a great start, and Horde was leading out the race.
Chad had a great run going, was actually kind of running away with it, but here we see him sideline with a broken rod. It happens in racing.
And that lets CJ Greaves enjoy his time at the front of the pack in that black and green monster machine.
Jeff Kincaid finishing a strong second, came up there, put his nose in a couple times, but there we see CJ, Jeff, and Steve Barlow.
There are the Pro two-wheel drives getting ready for that big land rush start. It is insane down there, and among the sound and the fury at the start line is our very own Tony Buckhoven.
But guys, it's just about time to go. Cowboys taking a look at the field. The drivers will tell you positions 3 through 6 is where they really want to be. Your point leader, CJ Greaves, is lining up in that 6th hole. So he's in that optimum spot here for today's start. Now, what you're going to want to watch as the flagman makes his way up into the stand. In a second, they're going to bring the engines up. They're all going into gear. They're going to stand hard on the brake, and you're going to hear those engines come to life as they make their way down into that tight first corner. Here we go. There they go to the green flag waves, and it was a great start. And look at the roost as they go down into the chute.
Mike Jenkins up the inside has a pretty clear shot at turn 1, and it is Mike Jenkins pulling off the whole shot from spot number 1.
Amazingly enough, Mike Jenkins raced that Pro 4-wheel drive, then had to get himself turned around and into his Pro 2, but look at CJ Greaves work his way up the inside.
Just like his dad, right around the outside. These Greaves boys definitely know their way around Crandon, and CJ back out in front.
So great result for CJ yesterday after Chad Horde broke down, and CJ was sitting in the middle of that pack because they inverted the top 6, so he actually had the 6th choice, but it didn't seem to bother him at all.
No, it came right around the outside. Now we see Jeff Kincaid. The 2 guys that were going at it hard yesterday are in 1st and 2nd. Jeff Kincaid is probably the only person besides Johnny Greaves that has more laps around Crandon. His shop is literally 5 miles down the street.
CJ Greaves in the lead over Jeff Kincaid, and then Jenkins is trying to hold his position, but he has got, well, someone knocking on the door, so to speak.
Chad Horde looking on the inside. On the outside, Chad did not have a good spot with that DNF. He had to start all the way on the outside. So right now, trying to keep his radiators clean, and what I mean by that is stay out of the roof. So try to get by Mike Jenkins, get back into play, and wait for that competition yellow.
And you can see that roost being kicked up from the back tires of Mike Jenkins right into the front of Chad Horde's truck.
Mike a little bit wide, a little swapping side to side. Chad with a run up the inside, but Mike holds it hard on the outside and holds that position through turn 1.
Chad Horde knows how to race this Crandon track. He is no stranger to the big house, but he's got to work his way all the way up from 4th place if he wants to get a win here today to redeem himself from yesterday's round number 7 breakdown.
And you got to give a guy props when he's doing great. Mike Jenkins right now, he's out in 3rd place. He got passed by CJ and Jeff Kincaid, but holding his own against Chad Horde and doing a great job because he's one of those guys, in fact, the only guy that's running Pro 2-wheel drive and Pro 4-wheel drive.
One of the things that hasn't happened here so far is the rain has stayed away from Crandon, and that has helped some of these guys, but dust flying everywhere. Chad Horde, though, still working on the back of Mike Jenkins. For more on Chad, let's check in with Christy Lee.
Thanks, Tess. Chad Horde having a difficult day racing yesterday. He blew his engine during the race, had to pull off. They got a brand new engine in his truck, ready to roll today. A bit disappointed, but he said he wants to get out on the track and prove to everyone that he belongs in that top spot.
Well, right now, Tess, you see him working to the left and to the right, trying to stay out of the roost. But once again, Mike Jenkins doing a great job. He's not holding him up because, you know, Chad's not banging on him because we have big bumpers in these trucks and fiberglass fenders. So Rubbin is definitely racing. But right now, Chad looking on the inside, but Mike Jenkins with the preferred line on the outside.
Wow, look at that. Chad Horde just had the speed. Can he hold it down? Yeah, it looks like he can. going to fly into the left-hander here. Chad Horde jumps into third place.
You see Chad swapping side to side off of those jumps. He made the move on the inside, which tightened up his exit. So that puts him leaning on the suspension as he hits the first jump, bounces to the right, and then bounces him to the left over the next jump.
As we learned in our pro four-wheel drive race, though, jumping sideways on this track doesn't necessarily help you. Oh,
Jarrett
problems
Johnson.
here. Jarrett Johnson on his roof.
Jarrett Johnson in the hairpin, right where they come back on, right by the start line. Jarrett up and over and on his roof. And this, let me tell you, as a driver, is the most frustrating place to be. You're a turtle with your feet up in the air, and you want to get over and get going.
And they're going to drag that Husqvarna machine just off the side of the course. And what we're hearing from race control is a local yellow only at this point. Slow enough speed there.
A little bit of engineering going on right now because you have to hook the truck in a place that's going to leverage it to pull it over. They tried to grab it in the one spot and it just started sliding, so you got to make sure that you don't tear the roof off the truck and try to pop it back on its wheels. It's going to be a local yellow, so the drivers have to slow down because the number one concern is the track safety guy. The guy in the truck upside down is in a safe environment. The guy outside is not.
And what we know about that corner is it actually is slightly off camera. It does pitch you to the outside there, so that is not a very safe position at full race speed. So CJ Greaves running out there, who we don't see in this race, is Ari Lyondike Jr. in that blue number 25 gun machine. He's down with Christy Lee, and Christy, he's with you in the stands?
That's right, Tess. Ari, disappointing day yesterday. We're missing you again today. You guys and your team weren't able to get another engine back in the truck. What happened?
Well, it wasn't just down to the engine problem. It was actually a cooling problem with the motor. We've had some engine troubles throughout the year, and we discovered that one of the radiators was broken. Couldn't get another one made in time, so obviously I'm just gutted that I can't be out here racing with these guys. Feel bad for our sponsors, Gunk, you know, Team Cooper Tire, Genius Tools, and we'll be back in Bark River better than ever, and we'll be more prepared for this next time.
There you have it, words from Ari Lyondike Jr. back and ready to go for the next round.
Very disappointing for Lyondike and his team. There you see the local yellow. We talked about how slowly they work their way through.
Well, right now you see Jarrett Johnson was climbing out of the truck because once they flip it over, he might try to restart it, make sure that a lot of the oil has not come out of the pan into the motor, but evidently something is wrong with that Husqvarna truck. It's not turning over, so it's the end of the day for Jarrett.
And a tough way to end for Jarrett Johnson. We know he is looking for a result. But so far, 1, 2, and 3 are pretty evenly spaced, and they have definitely put a big gap on the rest of the field. So CJ leading out Jeff Kincaid, then Chad Horde. Remember, we come to a full course yellow, and then everyone will go nose to tail. So we're coming close to full course yellow.
Well, right now the drivers are starting to look around. If I was Chad Horde and Jeff Kincaid, I would start searching around a little bit, find some lines so that when it comes time, I can make a move on CJ if I have the speed to catch him. Right now, nobody's staying with him, so we see another green flag lap. Chad Horde working left, working right, looking for traction, but it's going to be awesome after this competition yellow.
Well, looking at Chad Horde there, and I have to tell you, the VP power move of this race, well, it has to be the move that Chad Horde made.
It's definitely a nerve-wracking. He comes on the inside of Mike Jenkins. You're throwing in 100 miles an hour. It tightens up the turn, and here we see Chad Horde move to the outside, swap side to side. Awesome job by Chad Horde.
And he'd been dancing back and forth up to that point, trying to find a way around, and all of a sudden, it just seemed like he was on rails and just rocketed past Mike Jenkins.
It all started back in that 180.
Here we go, CJ Greaves. He's going to work his way around to our competition caution. The yellow and red flag will fly simultaneously. What that means is that all of the trucks bunch up, nose to tail, and then they go for a restart. And I think with Jeff Kincaid and Chad Horde so close behind CJ Greaves, that's going to be an interesting restart.
It's going to be an awesome race. And here we see Chad coming up on the bicycle. What I mean by that, when you're driving a four-wheel vehicle, you're up on two, you just balance it as much as you can.
There we go. Competition caution for CJ Greaves. Jeff Kincaid will come through next, and then Chad Horde. So CJ Greaves will lead him out after the competition caution. Can he hold him off and win again in Crandon? Getting ready to start our pro two-wheel drive. CJ Greaves leading out Jeff Kincaid and Chad Horde. Right behind them, though, Mike Jenkins is still in the hunt.
Mike Jenkins running really strong, and right here you'll see all of a sudden CJ Greaves takes off. He starts the race. That way he keeps the guys in line until they get to the barn jump. Now it's on.
And it's really on. Kincaid digging hard, trying to look for the back of that black and green machine. Chad Horde, though, has lost a little bit of space there between himself and Kincaid. I thought he would have been a bit closer.
Well, in some racing, you know, when it comes to stock cars, you can use the giraffe because you have constant vision. But as you can see here, the roost is so gnarly that the guys can't see. So you're always offline trying to see around that next driver.
And the move we saw, Steve Barlow in the black and yellow camp machine was trying to get himself around Mike Jenkins, but Jenkins holding him off. They are battling now for 4th position. 1, 2, and 3 evenly spaced out. Question is, can Jeff Kincaid start to pull in that gap to CJ, or will CJ really just lay on the power and try to pull away?
Well, what we saw in the Pro 4-wheel drive races, Johnny Greaves said he made some changes to his truck, and he really liked the way it worked in that Pro 4-wheel drive race. So maybe they made some of those same changes to the Pro 2.
And again, a question, CJ Greaves' son, the father, Johnny Greaves, they're under that same tent with that same truck. How much do they share information?
Oh, well, father and son, you're a complete open book. You know, we've seen Johnny in the past. He does everything for CJ, which every father should do for their son. So definitely raising a strong champion driver. CJ running very, very strong. Yesterday we saw Jeff Kincaid catching him in the latter stages of the race, but right now CJ seems to have it hooked up.
And interestingly enough, CJ Greaves is driving hard into all of these corners, and it looks like the other guys, it looks like Jenkins and Horde are trying to find different lines for maybe a little bit of extra speed, but so far nothing seems to be giving them the result they want.
Right now, the way the track's laying up, Tess, you see the blue groove as they go under the AMSOIL finish line. You can't run there in a Pro 2-wheel drive. You have to get out there in the cushion, so the track keeps wider and wider and wider. You need those back tires up in that loam or the tacky dirt to give you that traction coming off. And right now, CJ's doing a great job. And then we're watching Jeff Kincaid do the same, but trying to exit lower, and it's not working.
And remember, basically the same amount of power being delivered to the back wheels of these Pro 2-wheel drive trucks, where the Pro 4-wheel drives deliver power to all 4. Well, for more on our leaders, let's check in with Tony Bachhoven.
Well, guys, CJ right off that corner taking a much higher line than Jeff Kincaid. 1 lap ago, there's a huge hole that's starting to form in the exit of that corner. And RJ, you can probably comment on this. It really upset Jeff, and he lost a lot of ground on CJ.
Well, definitely. We saw Jared Johnson flip over there. As you come into there, you're about 102 miles an hour, braking as hard as you can. I have to tell myself every lap, scare yourself going into that corner. Then you get down in there, you flick it almost a 180, and as you're exiting, it starts to pull the dirt up. There's so much horsepower in these 35-inch tires. They make big holes, and that's what's biting guys.
CJ Greaves is looking to make it 2 for 2 here at the big house. We have a few laps to go to see if Kincaid and Horde can make it to him. Join us when we come back. Welcome back to round number 8 of TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. This is the Big House Brawl. The Pro 2-wheel drives are wrapping up this race, and so far it has been an unbelievable race for CJ Greaves.
CJ seems to have the right combination, just like his father Johnny did in the Pro 4-wheel drive. We see a slight hesitation out of Jeff Kincaid in the 180 coming down the long straightaway, and Chad Horde not quite as strong as he was yesterday. Yesterday we saw him out in front and blow a motor. Maybe he's just not quite as quick as he was the day before.
Well, Chad Horde had to retire yesterday, eventually took an 8th place in the race. So he wants some kind of redemption. Right now he's on the podium, but you know Chad Horde. He will not just settle for 3rd place. He's going to try and get himself past Kincaid and then hope to somehow make it up to CJ Greaves.
Well, let me tell you, once you taste the top of the box, number 1, 1st place, numero uno, every time you're down there looking up, it pisses you off, it makes you mad, it makes you angry. So he definitely does not want to be 3rd, he wants to be 1st. But we see the white flag, CJ Greaves, with pretty much a commanding lead out in front, just doing his thing, driving around. But the dice in the race is for 2nd place between Jeff Kincaid and Chad Horde.
Funny thing about this racing, though, we have seen all kinds of weird and wonderful things happen in the closing laps. Tires can go down, trucks can break, so it is not over till it's over. Meanwhile, though, this race between the white machine of Kincaid, the red machine of Horde, Horde's just trying to find the extra power and the open door.
Well, when you're waiting for Jeff Kincaid to make a mistake, you pretty much better pack a lunch, dinner, and plan a vacation, because he does not make mistakes and he doesn't fold under pressure. So Chad's just going to have to be faster and make a power move like he did on Mike Jenkins.
So there, Horde taking a look again on the inside, doesn't have the power, and look at the speed these guys come down.
100 miles an hour into that turn, the truck's leaning slightly on the driver's side. You can't see around the corner because your hood's up in the air carrying that inside front wheel. But Chad has 2 more turns, and he's got a little bit of a run on him.
So here we go, Chad Horde, the red truck, the bus snowplow machine, working on Kincaid's Traxxas machine. Is it going to be enough?
Not quite enough. And people might wonder, God, why doesn't he just go to the inside and go around? Well, these trucks have to use that berm to get slingshot coming out.
Here we go, checkered flag. CJ Greaves makes it 2 for 2, and Crandon Horde tries on the inside. It's not enough. Jeff Kincaid will take second, but what a great late race charge there for Chad Horde. CJ Greaves takes the victory in our Pro 2-wheel drive. Round number 8 in the books for the Pro 2s. We'll check in with CJ Greaves, the winner of that Pro 2-wheel drive, when we return. A wire-to-wire victory in our Pro 2-wheel drive race for CJ Greaves. He is down with Christy Lee.
CJ, strong race. You ran away with that one. Congratulations. Another win for you this year in Pro 2-wheel drive.
Yeah, you know, this truck has been on fire this year. My crew has worked their butts off for it, and they've been doing the best they could, and it's put a phenomenal truck underneath me, and that's 2 for 2 here at Crandon. Hopefully we can keep it going. I mean, we got, I think, 6 wins already this year, and got the points lead and extending a little by little each race, and hopefully we can keep it going. But can't thank Monster, Toyota, Maxxis, Forest County Potawatomi, AMSOIL, Fox, all you guys, the crew, all my friends, family, the Lord for keeping me safe. Everyone, thanks a lot.
Let's talk about the Crandon Cup. After a strong race like that in your Pro 2-wheel drive truck, what's your choice? You're going to go Pro 2-wheel drive or Pro 4-wheel drive?
I think we're definitely going to stick with the 2-wheel drive today. The track's got a lot of traction, and it formed really good lines for us. So hopefully with a little bit of a gap we get, we'll be able to hold it off.
Guys, more to come from the number 33 of CJ Greaves in our Crandon Cup.
There you have the Pro 2-wheel drive finish. The Big House Brawl brings CJ Greaves out on top over Jeff Kincaid and Chad Horde. Good race for Kincaid, though, holding off Chad Horde. He is down with Tony Bachhoven.
Well, Jeff Kincaid comes home for his 4th podium finish of the season. Jeff, the last 3 races, you guys have really built some momentum. What's been the secret?
Oh, it's always great to be up on the podium. You know, we started bad this season, had a couple parts break-ons, but you know, to be here with Traxxas, Cooper Tires, and to be on the podium is a great place here at Crandon, Wisconsin. Can't say enough for my crew and the team we got, and being involved with Traxxas, there's nothing like it. So glad to be here at Crandon and get up on the podium. It's a big plus.
And in front of his home crowd.
Woo! Always great to get on the podium in front of the hometown crowd. Take a look at the points. CJ Greaves now extended his lead by 21 points over Chad Horde.
But there's only been 2 drivers to straight up beat CJ this year, and that is 2nd Chad Horde and 3rd Jeff Kincaid. But Chad Horde, week after week, is the man.